We saw you last week. You came in and I said to you, what would be a successful result for the UKIP? And you said we'd get millions of votes.
We did. And
we'll get a handful of seats.
Yeah, we didn't.
And that's the disappointing thing. You did get millions of votes, you voted brilliantly, but you've only got the one seat, Nigel.
Get a sense of a sort of perspective on this. If you add up the Liberal Democrat vote, you add up the SNP vote, and the Plaid vote, it's about the same as UKIP. You know, I mean, for every 2 Labour votes, there was 1 UKIP vote. I mean, 4 million votes under this system, given a massive surge to the Conservatives in the last few days, still represents an astonishing achievement. We're the 3rd biggest party in the country by popular vote, and yet we have a system that has given us 1 seat. And that means there's a lot of quite angry people out there.
OK, so just to put that in perspective, UKIP won just 1 seat in Parliament. The Electoral Reform Society says that UKIP would have won 83 seats under a proportional representation voting system. Well, we can see on this graph here, on the left, that was the result on Friday. On the right is what UKIP could have ended up with under the different voting system.
That's just looking at it. That's interpreting last week's vote as if it was PR. The last PR election we fought was the European elections last year. We came first and topped the national polls. Under PR, we wouldn't have won 80 seats. We perhaps would have won 150 seats because even more people would have voted for us.
The reality is, though, Nigel, we all know what the system is, and we know that we have a first-past-the-post system, and ultimately we can talk about the fantastic turnout in terms of votes, but sadly you've only got 1 MP now, and where does that leave UKIP going forward? Because it's going to be a long time before we can get a chance to get some more in.
Well, not really, because you see, we've got the London elections next year. We've got the Welsh Assembly elections next year. They're both with a proportional element, and as soon as you bring PR in, people go out and vote for UKIP in very big numbers. So you know, with or without me, whatever the future is, UKIP is a potent force in British politics. And as I say, what happened last week won't lead to disappointment, it will lead to anger, and come on, let's push this thing even further.
Now, do you... I mean, you said last week when you didn't win Thanet South that you felt like a huge weight had been lifted from your shoulders. You were sort of smiling and joking about it. Was there a moment at which you felt really sad and demoralised and actually, you know, had a moment?
Do you know, I went back on Saturday for the Thanet count for the local council. We stormed it. It is our first ever UKIP-controlled local council. We have a working majority of 10, and the whole country will watch and see how well we do in government. And what it said to me was, what first-past-the-post voting does, it doesn't just give you an unfair result, it produces negative campaigning and tactical vote switching. If we had PR, we'd vote for what we believe in.